Today we're going to be flying the drone around at my neighbor and buddy Coma's place. We're just going to be checking out how they cut, rake, and chop their cover crop for silage. Normally we would come in with our swath windrower and cut it for him. We have been finding that the silage chopper picks up too many stones when we do it that way, so we're going to try something different here, and we're going to use the hay mower to cut the cover crop, and then we're going to use his rake to combine two smaller swaths into one big one just to keep the silage harvester full. Yeah, so in the short time we were filming that last video, you see him pick up stones on two separate occasions. A rock is the last thing you want to put through a silage harvester. So the hay bine allowed us to cut the crop while leaving the rocks where they belonged in the field. So yeah, making one big swath once everything was cut. So yeah, you see my buddy, it's his wife, driving the front wheel assist, I think it's Cat Challenger, and just pulling their hay mower or their hay bine. I don't know what you call it. I'm not going to pretend I know what I'm talking about. And then he goes out with their John Deere. They have a Kubota, looks like hydraulic motor driven hay rake, and he rakes two swaths into one. It's better to have one massive swath just because that's silage harvester. It can really eat through a lot of crop in a hurry. So rather than driving it along at 10 miles an hour half full, you drive it along at 5 miles an hour right full to the brim. So yeah, if the swath is too small, the chopper has to drive extremely fast and it gets pretty rough on the operator. So yeah, putting more crop in one swath, the chopper can slow down while still keeping a steady flow of material going through the machine. And once you see how much material this thing can process, you understand why that's important. So yeah, now the expensive part, the forage harvester. So yeah, it's a CLAAS Jaguar, got a shitload of horsepower, but it picks up the entire swath, chops it into small tiny pieces and blows it into a trailer driving alongside it. And the machine does not like to wait. I mean, this is an expensive machine to hire out by the hour. So yeah, as soon as one trailer's full, another one needs to be ready to pull underneath the spout. That's why, yeah, silage becomes more of a logistics operation than a harvesting operation. The chopper might be the star of the show, but it's useless if you can't get the chopped material away fast enough. There's several different hauling setups being used. We had a smaller triaxle pulling with a silage box on it, semi pulling a silage trailer, and a CLAAS tractor pulling a silage wagon. They'd fill up beside the chopper and head back to the yard, dump, and immediately turn around for another load. The goal is basically to create a continuous loop. Basically chop, fill, haul, dump, repeat. Because every minute that forage harvester is sitting waiting for a trailer, it's costing money. Once the silage gets back to the yard, the job still isn't finished. Everything gets dumped onto the pile where a tractor continuously drives over. So while the chopper is racing through acres in the field, there's another machine back at the yard basically driving back and forth over the same pile all day. It's not glamorous, but it's one of the most important parts of the whole operation. Watching one of these machines work makes you wonder, why doesn't a farmer just own one? The biggest reason is cost. Like, a modern self-propelled silage harvester is extremely expensive. It's only useful for one specific job. But yeah, buying the silage harvester is only the beginning. Then you got to keep it moving. You need trailers, you need trucks, a tractor to pull those trailers, you need drivers, you need another tractor in the yard packing the pile. Suddenly you have an entire harvesting crew. So for a smaller operation that might only chop silage a few days of the year, owning all that equipment doesn't make much sense. A custom silage crew can spread the cost of machinery over thousands of acres and multiple farms. They show up, chop your crop, move on to the next customer. The downside is timing. When everybody's crop is ready at once, you can't necessarily have the crew exactly when you want them. But this crop gets harvested a little earlier before the big corn push. This is basically the entire process. You cut the crop, rake it into a heavy swath, chop it, keep enough trailers moving to stay ahead of the forest harvester, haul everything back to the yard, pack it into a pile, and then basically when all the cows come home off grass and you start feeding them. Then you kind of mix this into your rations. And I know a lot of the cattlemen around home now are kind of opting more towards silage rather than trying to bale hay all summer. When you cut hay, I mean, anytime you cut hay, you're basically inviting it to rain. That's kind of a superstition around here, that anytime you cut your hay, it basically rains the next day. So, if anybody's ever crying for rain, we just say you ask somebody to go cut some hay, and sure enough, the hay is shot, but it's good for everybody else's crops. Yeah, if you enjoyed this video, I'm going to be hopefully cranking out some harvest content here right away. So, yeah, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out some of my other videos.